What if I told you that a single country shaped the entire world? That from the rolling hills of Bavaria to the vibrant streets of Berlin, one nation's history has influenced everything from modern science to global politics? And that this nation has risen from the ashes of destruction, only to fall again.
Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
That, like no other, has both fractured and united, evolved, and ultimately defined the modern world in profound ways. But there's one story at the center of this history, a name that will forever be etched in infamy: Adolf Hitler. Who was he? And how did his rise change Germany and the world forever? Stay with me until the end, as we uncover a shocking twist in this tale of triumph and tragedy. A nation is born. The story of Germany begins long before the man who would cast such a shadow over its future. Germany's origins are deeply rooted in the Middle Ages, where tribes like the Franks, Saxons, and Goths formed a patchwork of small kingdoms, all vying for power. But it wasn't until 1871 that modern Germany was born. The German Empire emerged, uniting these fragmented states under the leadership of Prussian Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. It was a time of industrialization, a rapid rise in power, and the beginning of a nation that would challenge Europe's balance of power. In this new Germany, technology, culture, and military might were flourishing. Cities like Berlin became the hubs of innovation. But beneath the surface, there was also a growing tension that would later ignite one of the most horrific wars in history. The fall, a nation shattered. Fast forward to the aftermath of World War I, the Great War. Germany was defeated, and the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 imposed humiliating terms. The country was divided, economically shattered, and left with a deep burning resentment. Unemployment was rampant, and inflation spiraled out of control. The middle class was wiped out. Amid this chaos, a man emerged from the wreckage, a man who promised to restore Germany to greatness. That man was Adolf Hitler. Born in 1889 in Austria-Hungary, Hitler's early life was filled with disappointment and failure. He dreamed of being an artist but was rejected twice by the Academy of Fine Arts. He moved to Munich, Germany, and eventually found himself in the army during World War I. He was wounded and experienced the bitterness of defeat, but it was the sense of betrayal and humiliation after the war that forged his ideology. Hitler joined the German Workers' Party in 1919, which later became the National Socialist German Workers' Party, Nazi Party. His fiery speeches,
Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin.
An ordinary start, rise to such power. It wasn't just his rhetoric or promises. It was the volatile combination of fear, national pride, and the looming threat of communism. And what happened next would shock the world. Hitler's path to power was filled with violence, deception, and a cult of personality that drew millions of Germans into his dangerous grip. How did he go from the streets of Munich to becoming Chancellor of Germany in 1933? What did he do to turn Germany into a military superpower in just a few years? Stay tuned, because this story is far from over. The rise of the Nazi regime in World War II. Hitler's rise to power was swift. In 1933, after the Reichstag fire, he was appointed Chancellor of Germany. His first move was to establish a totalitarian state. The Reichstag fire decree suspended civil liberties, and soon after, he passed the enabling act which gave him dictatorial powers. Hitler used fear to consolidate control. The sulfur monosulfide Hitler Youth became symbols of terror, while the press and education system were twisted to serve Nazi propaganda. But Hitler wasn't just focused on internal control, he had grand plans for expansion. His vision of a vast empire, the Third Reich would dominate Europe. In 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, and World War II began. The Blitzkrieg tactics, lightning-fast warfare, were devastating. Within weeks, countries fell before the unstoppable Nazi forces. But as the war dragged on, things began to unravel. The Allies pushed back. Hitler's increasingly erratic decisions led to disastrous consequences. Meanwhile, the atrocities of the Holocaust unfolded. 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, Romani people, disabled individuals, political dissidents, were systematically murdered in concentration camps. The true scale of human suffering was unimaginable. But as Germany faced defeat, a chilling question emerged. Would Hitler's reign end with his own destruction? How did it all come crashing down? The end of an era. By 1945, the Allies were closing in on Berlin. In his final days, Hitler remained in his underground bunker, refusing to accept the inevitable. On April 30, 1945, Adolf Hitler took his own life. The Third Reich was no more, but the consequences of his actions are still felt to this day. World War II resulted in the deaths of over 70 million people, the division of Germany, and the beginning of the Cold War. After the war, Germany was split into East and West. In the East, the Soviets controlled the territory, while in the West, the US, Britain, and France established a democracy. It wasn't until 1990, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, that Germany was reunified. Today, Germany is a symbol of resilience. It has transformed from a nation torn apart by war to one of the most prosperous and influential countries in the world. Its contributions to science, culture, and technology are immense. Germany is now at the heart of the European Union and plays a leading role in global diplomacy. But the legacy of its past, particularly the horrors of the Nazi regime, is something the country continues to grapple with. It's a reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of remembering history to ensure it is never repeated. So, how does Germany today live with the shadow of Hitler's reign? And what lessons can we learn from one of the darkest chapters of history? That's a question we'll continue to explore in future videos. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on how far we've come, and the price of forgetting history. If you found this journey through Germany's past fascinating, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Share your thoughts on what we discussed today in the comments. Let's continue this conversation. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, subscribe for more content on world history.